sweet intro screen you got.
What's the intro screen?
It just says logo.
Oh, I got logoed out. Bad joke.
Just so that setups.
I like making that fun.
I'm just a streamer.
Cool building that.
So David, like, what else was I gonna get like ready for a class? Like, get some programs up and stuff. I guess I got this for some notes.
Nice.
I don't know if during the class I want to look stuff up on Google. I guess maybe while you're talking, and I could ingrain some of that. But I have this and this up.
Yep.
Yeah.
So any actions you do inside of Screen Hero, you can, if you click, you take over control of the mouse in there. So you can actually type right on my screen.
Oh, say hi.
Yeah. And then if you want to get out of it, I can just take over and right there. So now you're free to work on your computer. You can look up stuff. All while we're doing this, you're good to just go right there. But if we do, like, let's say we open up a playground and we start doing some coding. If you want to jump in and try out some stuff, you can just click in and start coding.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yep. That's pretty much it for Screen Hero.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Yeah, I went to after this one that same night. I wonder if it's gonna be again this night. There was a Dev League 2 hours that we did some stuff. It was on iOS too.
Oh, cool.
It was like a game development. I forgot what the game was called, but they had it set up so that you had 3 screens, and one was the actual game, one was the code behind the game, and then one was all of the differentiations in the code you were going to implement. So you just copied them and pasted them in, then watched them like in real time, watch the different behavior of the game. Then you'd add something else, and then you click in real time, and if it didn't work, you know you did something wrong.
That's exactly where you did it wrong too, with that piece you just put in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because you would watch it right after, and that whole process was pretty awesome. But it was set up. I was pretty tired by the end of it after going through this and then
fried after all this.
Yeah, because a lot of it was really new. I mean, I've done the conceptual stuff before, but the implementation.
The implementation, I understand. It can be a little jarring at times.
It's fun. You know what? It's fun though. That made it.
If you enjoy it, you'll push through it.
Yeah,
I could see the advantage of that too. That skill.
Yep.
Like see transposing that ability to do that to like projects that I want to do.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because that's kind of one of the motivating factors, is because like that part of some of the stuff that I'm doing is like weak or non-existent.
No worries.
Just gotta work the muscle a little at a time.
Exactly.
All right, guys, we're gonna start pretty soon.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'll leave the name tags out here for anyone who wants to join later. All right, we're gonna start. Here we go. All right. Well, thank you for being here for the...
How y'all doing?
Hey, how's it going? You here for the iOS meetup?
Yes.
Oh, right on. What's your name?
Matt.
Matt, nice to meet you. I'm David.
Good to meet you, David.
Nice to meet you.
Hi.
Hi.
I brought some cookies for
Oh,
everyone.
thanks a lot.
These
Appreciate
are
it.
munchies.
Cool.
Next time I'll bring something like.
Oh, yeah.
If we could have you guys sign in, write your names down.
Oh, wonderful.
We're about to get started.
A major project, because we're making deals. I have to be on top secret mode.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, that's a space to be in.
So
It's exciting space. I definitely, I just found out about HICap like yesterday.
Oh,
I was
right on.
actually here all day yesterday because I like got a membership at like 10 and then I just stayed here.
Nice.
Yeah,
Good first day.
Yeah.
Right
Dude, Hi. Chelsea. Yeah, good to see you again. Good. Yeah, good to see you too.
Oh, hey, you guys want to take some seats?
Yeah, for sure.
We're just started.
Okay, here we go. So thank you for being here. Thank you for taking time out of all of our busy schedules to be here. If you just got here, please fill out your name and on the name tag so we can know who we are. So I'm just going to do some housekeeping right off the top. If you're interested in joining us regularly, please RSVP or sign up to be a member on the Hawaii iOS Developer Meetup page. It's just a meetup site right there. Also, we were very lucky to be able to meet here at HICapacity. If you're interested in becoming a member of this hackerspace, just go right to that membership page. I'm also going to probably share, not on the live stream, my text number. If you have an emergency or need to get in touch with me, text me. But I prefer to have all the information go through the Meetup page, just kind of so everyone can see it. Final bit of housekeeping is that there's a bathroom. This is your first time here. The bathroom is directly outside. What's up, Zach? Bathroom's right outside to the right, and then there's a lanyard right there on the black. There's a key on the black lanyard right there. So that's it for housekeeping. And does anyone have any questions before we start in on the meetup tonight? All right, here we go. So the quote of the week tonight comes from the man, Steve Jobs. I'm going to read it off. I think one of the things that really separates us from the high primates is that we're tool builders. I read a study that measured the efficiency of locomotion for various species on the planet. The condor used the least energy to move a kilometer, and humans came in with a rather unimpressive showing about a third of the way down the list. It was not too proud a showing for the crown of creation, so that didn't look so good. But then somebody at Scientific American had the insight to test the efficiency of locomotion for a man on a bicycle. And a man on a bicycle.
Yep.
All right, so tonight's pro tip I want to share for Xcode is, this is a great tip. If you want to indent your code in Xcode, we're usually used to using just a tab key. But in Xcode, it doesn't work. So the workaround on that one is you highlight the code you want to indent, and you just press Command plus the right bracket. That'll indent to the right. And then unindenting is the same thing with a left bracket. So that's pretty much it. Last thing I wanted to do is I want to just share some free tools. If you guys are interested in pair programming with us, we've got a couple of cursors on here. Please feel free to bring your computers. We're using Screen Hero. It's a free screen sharing app. If you are interested in using it, it's been bought by Slack. If you want to use it tonight, or if you want to use it with other people too, just give me your email address and I'll add you in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, so we can like use it with each other?
You can share it with anyone.
So
you can
you can,
invite other
like,
people.
Like control, like if.
Yeah.
Like, oh, hey, can you write something for me?
Yeah, sure. So Jared, I'm going to ask you to just take over the screen and just write something.
Okay.
So Jared's writing from his computer right now.
Oh, that is what I need.
It's great.
Last few days. Hey.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
great. I program with a buddy in San Francisco, and it's just like the lag is 0.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yep.
Especially, okay, wonderful.
So just give me your email afterward. I'll tear up the email afterward just to give you the invite if you're interested in getting.
Thank you.
Sure. The other tool I wanted to share tonight is a Spectacle app. So I find that I really waste so much of my time in these like seconds where I have to take my hands off the keyboard and onto the mouse. So I wanted to share Spectacle app. This is a Mac only plugin, but it allows me to do just kind of screen resizing really quickly. So just something to keep in mind. Okay, so that's it for the free tools, the pro tip of the day, the quote. Next I want to share the agenda for tonight. So first we're going to do introductions, where if you could just read off those things and kind of just answer what you feel like you want to. After that we'll go into participation. Feel free to participate in any or all of the following. Tonight's discussion topic is going to be a Swift JavaScript bridge. We're going to be going over some code and kind of just brainstorming some ideas of what we want to do with it, what's possible. And then you can either talk about your own projects with other members, or you can pair program. Cool. So we just went through all of that. I wanted to just get a quick read on the developers tonight. Who is familiar with Git, like feels comfortable with Git versioning software?
Only,
Okay.
I only just started with Git. So.
Okay, maybe we'll do like a quick review. How about you, Jared?
Beginner.
Okay, great. Zach, we'll do some Git.
I just messed around with it.
Okay, we'll just do a quick one. Cool, all right.
A little bit.
Cool. Okay, so that's pretty much it. I am going to go back to the top for introductions. Just feel free to start here, and I guess I will go first, unless anybody else wants to. Brave volunteer. All right, Che.
Okay, I'm Che. I'm actually working at MIC. The company we're working on is called PicoQ. We're the easy to use energy audit app, and right now we're getting to a point where we're gonna get close to launch, so I can't share any more details. But I've been working with Swift for about 3 years, and I'm interested in doing all the stuff.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, Beth.
Hey, how's it going? How's it?
Okay.
Go on, Che.
Okay, and my interest is to see more developers who are doing or interested in learning, not just iOS, but Swift development as well.
Cool. All right.
This to the center.
Anybody else want to go next?
Sure, I'll go.
All right.
My name is Zach. I just started development about a month ago. I'm working on my first iOS game to go on the App Store. Right now, I'm trying to figure out how to implement like iAds and in-app purchases. Because I heard that iAd was gone, and now they're using like AdMob and other stuff like that.
Yep.
I can help with basic like Swift Sprite Kit stuff. That's about it.
Did you, sorry to interrupt you, but did you get your Sprite Atlas issue? I remember last time you mentioned it. You got it?
I resolved it.
Cool.
Through Stack Overflow.
Cool.
Yeah. Great place.
Yeah, it is.
Especially with some, especially when dealing with bugs and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's really
Some
helpful.
techniques, yeah.
And I'm just interested in learning not just gaming, like any programming. I'm just trying to widen my knowledge.
Cool.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Thanks.
I'll go next. My name is Jared. I'm working on one of the reasons I got into programming was website development. I was using Adobe Muse. It's pretty awesome, but it's not like really programming. So I thought I'd want to get behind that and see what all that is. So that's kind of what I'm working on.
Okay. Anybody else want to go next?
I'm Ken.
Hey, Ken.
I did Android in the past, now I'm really into web development, mostly React.
Okay.
So I've been playing with React Native, and I did a little native iOS development with Swift last semester.
Okay.
Actually, I go to school in New York. I'm here on vacation.
Nice. Thanks for being here on your vacation.
Cool.
Yeah.
Bring it in.
Cool. And do you attend any meetups, like Swift meetups in New York? Or?
No, a couple JavaScript meetups.
Okay. Cool. Right on.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thanks for being here.
Thanks for
All right.
I'm Matt. Let's see. I'm from here, in Hawaii. I'm working on using the Three.js libraries to develop for. I'm really interested in WebVR, so
Nice.
I have a Leap Motion on me. I've been playing with.
Oh, nice.
I've gotten to the point. I just started JavaScript, so it's a little bit buggy. What am I stuck on? So I got offered like a possible like internship at this company that does kind of WebVR development, and they said like, oh, if you can pick up and throw a ball using Three.js libraries and Leap Motion, then like you could be an intern here, and also you have a week to learn it all. So yeah, I'm gonna be flying up on the 11th, and I've just been really cramming.
Right on.
And I think in terms of what I can help out with, I've done not a whole lot of development, but I've done a little bit of Python and Java. I just started JavaScript. In terms of like 3D design, I've done some 3D modeling and stuff, mostly in Blender and a little bit in Maya. So yeah, I guess that's what I can offer.
Cool.
And yeah.
Thanks for being here.
Wait, I'm Jason. I'm actually Matt's brother.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so
Dev team. Sweet dev team.
yeah, also from here.
Right on.
What am I working on? I actually am not really working on anything right now. I'm thinking of applying to DevLead right next door.
Cool.
And I have very, very limited programming experience.
Okay.
So I'm kind of coming in new.
Okay.
And I'm here to just kind of expose myself to real world developers and programmers to see what kind of information absorb, different ideas and projects to familiarize myself with.
Cool.
And to try and just learn network.
All right. Well, we'll get into some programming tonight, and feel free to ask questions along the way.
You
Cool.
said DevLead is right next door?
Yeah.
It is.
It is.
Really, like, literally next door.
Yeah.
I want to do that. Is it
Yeah,
like a
so
full-time
it's about it.
commitment? Like
They
8 hours a day?
full-time. Well, actually, full-time is rough.
I got a
Probably
full-time
would.
job.
Yeah, so I mean, there's also the part-time, which I probably could enroll myself in that capacity.
Oh, okay. I'll have to look into the part-time.
Yeah. So I'm considering this all.
All right. Thanks for being here. I'm going to do my introduction. My name is David Neely. I'm was a top-grossing iOS tutor in San Francisco in around 2011-12. I love the iPhone. I love the possibilities that it has. It's a pocket computer, GPS, everything. It's so much fun to program for, and it's just a cool ecosystem. I started this meetup just to kind of create kind of like a support group really for developers that, I mean, I think we all have projects we're working on and we just kind of lose steam on them.
Yep.
And it just sits there. So this is kind of the nudge, like keep going guys, let's do this. If you get stuck on something, feel free to ask a question. I found at the first meetup we had that I was working on an animated GIF screensaver and I was just stuck on it for like a year. And at that first meetup, this guy John was here and he just, oh yeah, you just need to do this. And I was like, oh, right on. That was it. So I hope that you guys have the same experiences and thanks for being here. So we're gonna just go into some code. I guess before I go into the code for tonight, I just want to do like a really quick overview of Git, just because people, it seems like the developers here would want a little bit of just a primer real quick. So does anybody know what Git is?
Yes. Source control.
Okay, and what does source control mean?
A lot of open source projects are on there.
Right.
Closed source, you know.
Right, so one reason you want to have source control on your projects is that, let's say that you're just jamming one night and you're just knocking down a bunch of code, you're getting it all right, and then you kind of hit the wall and you're just like, all right, I'm just gonna implement one more feature. You go for it, and then before you know it, you're so checked out that you just forgot what you just did, and then you broke the whole thing and you don't know how to reverse. The great thing about source control is you can just rewind things. It's almost like just like pressing previous on a DVD player to get to that state of your program. So it's just fantastic. So whoever has a computer and does not have a GitHub account yet, please sign up for one right now and we'll do some quick tests. But feel free, if you don't want to right now, it's fine too. It's just github.com. You can just sign up. So what I'm gonna do while you guys sign up is I'm just gonna kind of go in and just create a repository. Repository is a term for, and please, if we get to 6:30 without getting into the code for tonight, please let me know. I don't want to waste anyone's time just focusing on Git, but we'll talk about it real quick. So I'm on GitHub. I have my own profile. Just gonna get to it. These dots are what a lot of developers really are proud of. This is every single time you've done a commit, you've pushed it to the repo. This just looks good. If you see more green, it means the person's a lot more active. It's just good to have. So I'm just gonna go in and create a new repo. What we're doing is just going in and creating a new one. I'm just gonna call it ASDF, and I'll make it public. That's it, so I've created it. Now this repo exists. I'm gonna zoom in a bit so we can see here. And then we do a little bit of command line here too. So I'm gonna bring up my terminal. And I'm just going to, came up on this other screen that you guys can't see. Bring this up. And I'm just gonna get into that. So go back here. I'm sure you guys can see this. So I'm gonna see what, these are pretty much repos that I have locally installed on my machine. I'm just gonna bring in a new one. So all I need to do is just get to this and clone it. So I'm just gonna go git, and the command I want is clone, and I'm pasting it in right here. And I press enter. So now it's cloning this repository directly into my folder right in here. But since we don't have anything in this repository, it doesn't do anything. So how about just kind of as the last bit for this Git primer, I'm just gonna create an empty Xcode project. I'm gonna put it inside of this folder and I'm gonna push it to this repository online. So let's look at it right now. We're gonna see that there's nothing in this right now. It's just empty. But it's trying to give me some commands of what I can do to actually add things in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to Xcode, bring it up with my terminal, not my terminal, sorry, Xcode. And I'm just going to create a new project with Shift Command N. You guys have any questions yet? How's the speed? Is this okay? Okay.
Oh yeah, what's the Wi-Fi password?
Oh, gotcha. All right, Ken, it's going to be Plan Musubi, or I'm sorry, PLA Musubi, and it's the HICapacity 5G.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay, so I am going to go back into Xcode. I'll bring this up so you guys can see. I am just going to name my project since I named it ASDF. There it is. That's pretty much it. So now I'm going to say next, and then here we go. So Xcode actually automatically creates a Git repository for me.
Yep.
I can disable this. I'm just going to keep it on. So I'm just going to create it here. And oh man, I already have a project named ASDF. You know what? I'm going to replace it. I don't even know what it is, but it's being replaced. There we go. So we got some code in here, just waiting for Xcode to catch up. And what I like to do whenever I do a Xcode project, I just like to build it, just to make sure it works. It's always going to work, but
yeah,
just to make sure it does. Just waiting for it to build. Okay, waiting, and while that is going, I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna just check on my repo. Let's check this. So we have our ASDF. I want to move over to that, so I'm CDing. I'm also using tab to complete that. And so we see all this stuff is in here now, right? But we still see on the repository, there's nothing in here because we haven't pushed anything up yet. Waiting, waiting, waiting. Okay, great, it's not there. So what I want to do now that I have these new pieces in here, I'm going to do a git status. And this is git saying what the issues are. But I don't know. Okay, so I've reinitialized here. I'm going to do a git status. There we go. So I'm on the branch master. Master's kind of where I'm at right now. There's nothing to commit, so the working directory is clean. Move this over a bit, and I'm going to say that I want to add everything in here. And then I want to commit it. And I'm just going to say that this is build, and I'm going to say this is the first commit. There we go. All right, so now we see that, and we do a git status, and that looks great. So now I want to do a git push, but I don't think I've added my remote. So here we go. This is the remote right here.
Right.
We've created a new repository, and I want to add the remote. So remote just means this place on github.com is where I'm going to be storing my code. Right. So I'm going to copy this, and all I do is just paste it in here. Adds the remote very quickly. Now I can do a git push. Come on, what is that? Okay, I'm just gonna. So right now, the branch that I'm on is push the current branch, set the remote as upstream use. I'm just gonna do this in.
Git push /u origin master. You have to say that.
Where are you seeing that?
The command
Oh yeah, sorry. Okay, thanks, Jay. So now I am pushing it to the origin. Here we go, we're waiting for it. So it's counting up all the pieces in there, compresses it, and then it shoots it over to GitHub. What I'm going to do now, unless someone else wants to take over the screen, just refresh this page. I can do it. There we go. If you can just refresh that, Jared. There we go. So now that we've pushed it, we should see there's our repo with all our stuff in there. Anybody have any questions? Does this make sense, or anybody have a question of like, why are we doing this?
I'm wondering a little bit why.
Okay, all right. So let's say that you just did like 11 hours of code one day, and your computer crashes. The only code you have would be on your computer, right?
Yeah.
But if you did a git commit and you pushed it to the repository, it's almost like sending all of your code, like emailing it to someone. So if your computer crashes, it's like, no problem. I'll just pull it down from here. So for example, another thing you could do, and this is going to be the last example I do, is this is the great part of open source, is when you put a public repository out there, anyone can just go right here, grab this link, and clone the entire project.
Yeah.
So let's see, I'm going to get out of this directory, and I'm going to just create a new directory, and I'll just call it ASDF QWERTY. I'm going to get into there, and I'm just going to git clone. Check this out. Well, before I do this, let's just see what is in this. There's nothing in here, right? Now I do a git clone. Sorry. Git clone. Boom. It's bringing it in. Now I do an ls. It's all there. So it's kind of just being able to move things around. If I did make a change, I'd have to commit it, I'd push it up, and that newest version would be in here with all the other versions that I've committed as well. So that's a really brief Git tutorial. We've got 9 minutes to 6:30. We'll probably take like a 2-minute break there. But kind of for the next 9 minutes, if you guys have questions, then just ask them if you do.
So the all of the like versions, then someone or you like, is it like a this is the actual thing, and then these are like all the different like, possibilities of what it could be?
Like the version that's been saved previously, those all exist in the background.
Okay.
And the differences between maybe the file that you've changed is what makes it a new version. I'm not sure if I'm being clear enough, but
Okay, but it's not like, is there like a main one and then a bunch of other? Like,
exactly, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then another thing you can do to complicate things more is you can have a main one, and let's say that you maybe you want to add just a feature, but you're not sure if it's going to be in the main one that you want. You could branch off, and then now you have this copy. You can do all your changes, and as you go forward, if you like the changes you've made, you can push them, merge them back in with the master.
How do you know it'll like merge and not break something?
You will do a, I'm not sure if I have the terminology right, but you'll do like a differential check.
Yeah.
And then it'll tell you, there's actually a feature inside of Xcode that gives you your version and the version you're checking against.
Oh.
So it'll actually show you this line looks like this line in the differences.
Cool.
You said we have like 8 minutes.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go till 6:30, and then I'll go into the actual meat of the
Do you
meetup
mind
tonight.
doing like uploading something again? Because I'm trying to.
Yeah,
I'm
sure.
actually about to upload my project now.
Okay.
So I was trying to
Okay.
see whether I have to.
All right. So Zach, you want me to just create a new repo? Is that kind of what you're thinking?
So I already created it. I'm just trying to figure out how to actually upload my existing Swift project
Okay.
to GitHub.
Okay. You want me to add you on Screen Hero, and then if you don't mind sharing your GitHub, we can just
Okay.
go right into yours.
How do I even?
That's
Okay.
cool.
Just gonna add you in here.
Nice.
Repo.
How do I get on repo? Just
Sorry. GitHub.
on GitHub.
Yeah, GitHub.com. All right, Zach, you're in. And then if you want to just navigate on this screen to your GitHub page, and then we can walk you through it.
So you,
Oh yeah, Screen Hero. Screen Hero.
It's hard to pick a good place for the webcam.
What was that?
It's hard to pick a good place for the webcam overlay. I get to move around.
I know, right?
It's like chasing.
It's like overlapping
If
some
you
code.
look it up, or if we send an invite.
you want to sign out of yours and sign
Oh,
in yours?
yeah, let me sign out.
I have to see if I'm on this.
There you go.
How does he get on a Screen Hero? Do you just
Oh, you have to give me your email address, and then I'll add you. Yeah.
That's how I did it. I forgot.
And then we just dismiss this one, Zach. There you go. All right, so you want to just go from the top, Zach? See how it goes?
Nice.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so have you created a repo, or you?
Yeah, I
kinda-
think I just created one.
Okay. So let's look at your profile by just clicking on your icon right there in the upper right-hand corner, and we'll go to your profile. Just,
Oh, it's way faster.
is it lagging on you?
Yeah, it's getting weird.
Okay.
Alright.
Okay, so you got one repo right there.
And Zach, this is a project you're really working on? Like,
Yeah, this is. I just didn't know that I could back it up on GitHub.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, so let's click on that. And so you have it as a private repo, but you're logged in, so it should be fine. So now what we want to do is let's click on that green button that says clone and download, and then copy that code that's right in there. Hey, how's it going, Mike? Just the whole thing. Is it letting you? There you go.
Alright.
Okay, and then, so how about, let's open up Terminal on this machine. Need help with that, or?
Yeah, you
Okay. So I'm just gonna, I just use a shortcut Command Spacebar to open up Spotlight. I'm just gonna type in Terminal, bring it up, and then I'm just gonna kind of go to a directory that you can just clone it directly into, Zach.
Okay.
So I just wanna find out what directory I'm in. I'm gonna go up one, and then I wanna see here. I'm gonna just leave it right here. Okay, so what you would need to do now that you have it copied, you have your Git thing copied, you're just gonna type in git space clone space,
Oh.
and then so git space clone space, and then just paste in, there you go, press enter. There we go, it's, so repository not found.
Is it because it's on your computer or no?
It shouldn't be. It should ask you for a login. But how about, just for now, how do you feel about sharing your code publicly? Do you kind of want to keep it private? Okay, let's have you just change your repository from private to public. because that could be what is influencing things. So do you need help with that? Changing it up? Or?
Where's the?
Let's see. So how about I'm just going to take over real quick.
Yeah.
In the settings.
So Zach, you were building this on GitHub already, or
No, I was
something else?
building it just in Swift on
Swift.
my MacBook. And
Okay.
trying to use back.
So then you're creating a new repository and then backing it up on here?
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
you're going to periodically do that while you're building it? Maybe?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. Yeah. So I have like version control.
Okay, so guys, I'm just going into the settings on this repo. To make it public, I'm just going all the way to the bottom, in this red section, make public. This just makes it so everyone in GitHub can see your code if they're interested in it. So I'm making it public. And then now that it's public, Zach, let's have you do it one more time and get in the in here and kind of just do the same thing. One tip to replay the same command you just typed in is you can press the up arrow. It remembers what you've typed. There you go. Press enter. All right, so we're in. You've got it. Now press LS press CD space, and then the name of the repo. So I think it's
Oh, right.
Yeah, but it's case sensitive in here, so you have to use the uppercase. And then you can tab complete. Just press tab. There you go. Press enter, and then LS. So we're kind of listing what's in here. There you go. So your repo just has a README in there. Now all you'd have to do in your machine is move your code from wherever you have it directly into this folder.
Okay.
Okay, so let's just do like just an example, just a really quick. I'm gonna just and I know we're pretty good on time. We're gonna take a 2-minute break at 6:30. But so I'm just gonna create a file. Just creating a file in here. So now I have this file in here. Let's do a git status. It's just saying, shoot, there's one file in there now that's not tracked. So we have to add this file, make a commit right here, and then we're going to push it onto the repository. This stuff really, it sounds super difficult, but once you do it like 100 times, it's super easy.
Yeah.
It's dead simple.
So to add the file, you do the.
So I'll actually have you do it. So it's going to be git space add space dash, and then an uppercase A. So that just means any new files, you press enter, any new files are added now. And now we're going to do a commit message here. So it's going to be git space commit. And then we're doing a flag, so it's dash M. It's kind of a mark telling you what this is. And then space, and then double parentheses. And then you can name it what it is, just first file or something. And then end it, press enter. So you've added your commit now. Now the last thing you need to do is you just need to push it up there. So you're just going to put git space push. That's it. So now it's pushing it up to your repository, but we're getting an error here.
Is it, if I could ask a question, is it already on the GitHub and then it's going to a repository, or it's on his computer right now, and then doing this code and pressing enter on this stuff is going to put it on the GitHub server?
Yes. So Zach created an empty repository. He's got his own code on his own computer. What we just did is we got his repository he created on GitHub, and on my computer we just did a git clone that pulled in his repository into a folder. We moved into the folder, we created a file, we committed it, and we're pushing it back up. Okay. So the same process you're going to do for your whole code base. You just move it into this folder, add, commit, push, done.
Okay.
And then you can access it from around the world, wherever you are. You can share it with people, that kind of thing. Okay. So the error we're getting here is because my username is tied into the account on this terminal right now, but you won't run into those issues on your computer. So that's it. So we're going to take a 2-minute break, and we'll go from there.
Sounds great.
Some water.
What's your name again? Mike. Oh, hey, you gotta get one of these, man. Right here. And I think the blue pen, there's like a blue pen right here. Hey, Zach, you know that process he was saying? I kind of got a little bit, but it's on your computer, the code,
Yes,
and
sir.
then you have the website, and then what is the green part exactly?
So what you're doing is we created like a repository, so a folder on my computer, and then what I do is I drag the project into that folder, the repository.
Kind of like a Google Drive or something.
Yeah, and then once it's in there, then you push it up to GitHub, so it replicates on GitHub. So there's a copy on your computer and a copy on GitHub.
Oh, they're like synced.
Well, every time you push it up, it syncs with it.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so that way you can edit it on the copy in your repository without messing with the GitHub copy.
Oh,
Say you
okay.
screw something up, then you can just go back to GitHub
Yeah.
and pull the old version out.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So Ken, I noticed that on your profile you're a musician too.
Oh yeah.
Huh? You guitar or?
I used to play bass.
Oh, nice.
But,
Cool.
now I just do like electronic mostly.
Oh, nice. Logic or Ableton or?
Yeah, Ableton and yeah, Logic too.
Cool.
I used to use Reason, but
Yeah, I used to use that too.
yeah. I
I
miss
like
that.
I like turning the modules and seeing the chords
Yeah,
shake.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's our 2 minutes. I'm gonna get right back into it. So Zach, I'm gonna log out of your GitHub, and I'll log back into mine. Okay, and the repository I want to discuss tonight is not in here. It's gonna be here. And just kind of a background on this one is that there was a repository that did this in Swift 2, but it just kind of did not work on Swift 3 in Xcode 8. So I went in and I updated it. So I'll show you the old repo right here. So I kind of just updated it, updated the syntax. I can go over that tonight if you're interested. One thing that you'll get into when you are seeing tutorials or example code for Swift is that you'll see some really kind of out-of-date tutorials in Swift 2, that kind of thing. So kind of just be aware of which Swift tutorials you're looking at. And if you do have options, always go for the newest one, and that's going to be Swift 3. If you're interested in learning how to convert Swift 2 syntax to Swift 3, we can talk about that tonight a little bit too. I'm going to do just a really quick run through of this code and then leave pretty much the rest of it for conversation, questions, just brainstorming, that kind of thing. So here we go. So a Swift JavaScript bridge exists to be able to call JavaScript from directly within your iOS application. Great thing too is that it goes the other way too, is that you can call JavaScript from Swift. I think I said that already. You can call them both. Either way, it's the main thing.
Since it's a bridge, it goes
Yeah,
2 ways.
it goes 2 ways. So you can just install this in CocoaPods. This is what we covered last session, is CocoaPods. We probably will be covering this in the future too. But it's pretty much just calling it, installing with CocoaPods, going in and calling all this kind of stuff. So I'm going to switch over to my repo just because I'm more comfortable with it. And I'm just going to go into it. So it's on GitHub. If you're interested in downloading it and using it, it's on the Meetup page too. So I'm going to bring up Xcode now, and I have it in here. So here it is. I'll go to presentation mode. Quick way to get your preferences up in Xcode is Command, comma. And I'm going to go to presentation large so we can all see it. So there it is. I've installed with CocoaPods. I'm working with an XC workspace, and I've pulled in Swift JavaScript bridge. So I'm looking at the view controller right now, and this is kind of the entry point of where I'm calling everything. So just run through. For some constants, there is a HTML file that I have not been able to access, so mileage may vary. I'm going to go down to actually the calls right here. So you can pretty much just feed in some JavaScript and have it call some Swift stuff. I'm going to pretty much run the application right now, and you can see in the console what gets printed out for the types of things that you're able to do. The way I brought up the console is really quick as a Shift Command Y. other keyboard shortcuts coming up in future meetups. But I'm just going to run it. So here we go. Waiting for it. Waiting for the simulator. There it is. And nothing's going to come up on this one. But we're just waiting for this to load. So here we go. So here we're saying that JavaScript is saying that it's able to call a function, all these kinds of functions, also some with arguments, and then also Swift is able to call with arguments, with different kinds of data and all those kind of things. This is pretty much the meat of the talk that I had today, and this is kind of where I wanted to break off to talk about maybe what does this make possible for us as iOS developers. Does anyone have any questions or like what is going on here, guys? Like,
You're pulling JavaScript into Swift, or are you pulling Swift, putting Swift into JavaScript, or both? You can do both with it.
we're meant to be pulling in JavaScript into this iOS project with Swift.
That way you can view JavaScript web pages on a phone.
Yeah, let's break that down a bit though, because let's talk about JavaScript for a bit. And Matt, you said you had some experience with JavaScript too, or? Oh, okay. Okay.
Kind of learn.
Okay. And Ken, you have some experience with React. Maybe could you talk a bit about like why you would want to use JavaScript, like kind of benefits?
Inside Swift?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of good JavaScript libraries. It has a very large community. Also, I guess it's cross-platform, so Android could run JavaScript too. Yeah, I don't know exactly about like using it with web pages inside an app. I mean, there are like web views.
Yes.
Right.
But I guess this is more for like a hidden web view, like not exactly showing a web page.
Yeah, it's really, I mean, I've racked my brain all week trying to figure out why would this be good. One reason that JavaScript was and please correct me if I'm wrong, anyone, one reason why JavaScript was, iOS developers were interested in running JavaScript inside of their apps is that once you ship your app to Apple, there's kind of there's a process that they go through to approve your app and then so you can start selling it. When you go through that process, any reviews you get that are coming along in that version of the app are going to be tied to that version. And let's say that maybe there's a bug in your code that you got to like, shoot, now I got to resubmit to Apple and I lose all of my reviews. So one of the options was in JavaScript was being able to update your app without having to resubmit to Apple. So that's one benefit of using JavaScript. Going back to your web view idea is that you can kind of, one thing you could do with like a website is you could control the DOM. So it's the document object model.
Right.
So you can move stuff around. You can do like AJAX, I guess, and that's like an asynchronous request. And those are kind of the things that I figured out like as maybe potential reasons you'd want to use JavaScript, but I couldn't think of any more.
Yeah, I guess React Native does something like this, except it's more, it's kind of gets you away from using Swift mostly. Like you use Swift for the like UI elements, and then people write components.
Interesting, I didn't know that. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Because you write all the stuff in, and then it compiles right into JavaScript, but not all APIs you can do that. So
Right.
Okay.
if you're doing with like some of the low level APIs, you gotta go, some parts you've gotta go native.
Yeah.
So if you're doing anything really complex that requires deep API, you gotta go native. For most basic stuff, you can get away with that. So it really depends on what kind of app you're really building.
Yeah, and then there's two schools of thought of whether we should create components completely in JavaScript and like mimic the look and feel of the iOS UI components,
Right.
or just like tap into the already existing native components. And I kind of feel the second way because I think you're never going to get it. Yeah, and you're never going to get it completely the same.
Right.
Exactly, because the problem with, because different OSs, like let's say iOS or Android, interpret JavaScript elements differently. Like same thing with one of the biggest problems with JavaScript before is incompatible browser, like Microsoft Internet Explorer versus others. Example. That's why it's best to That's why React Native was created to map the JavaScript code into the native libraries for the OS. That was, I understood why they built it, so that they don't have to deal with incompatibilities. Yeah.
Are you guys picking up on this? Does it kind of make sense of why you would do that?
Yeah, so maybe if you know JavaScript more than you know Swift, you could write most, or some, not, you said not too deep of a project, but you could write the app in JavaScript and then just transfer it over to Swift through this bridge.
Right. It really depends on how, like certain, like some of the graphics APIs, you can't do that, obviously, because they're totally different. But like what you're doing with games, don't do that. So you gotta use the native kits or the other option is like Unity or something like that. But it really depends on what you're doing. If you're doing simple web view, that you can do. But if you're doing something really complex that requires a lot of processing, you better go native. So it really depends on what you're doing.
Any other thoughts?
I was just wondering again if we could, if you could kind of explain this the process that we're doing on here, because it kind of seems like there's like kind of an interface between like multiple apps, and there's like the utility of taking it from one and putting it on another, and it just seems like we're doing kind of like that, the process of that.
Could you say that one more time?
We're doing like processes, right? That like. And I'm not exactly 100% sure what like the outcome of those processes are. I mean, I assume we're trying to create like an end product and use this like code that creates like this thing, and that's kind of where I'm at, like understanding the programming and like from high level. But how does what is happening here that's like accomplishing that, like and making that like more optimal?
I guess, I mean, the most simplified way I can think of to describe it is, let's say that you. Let's keep it with a web view. So JavaScript was created to allow for a scripting language on the web. So it's extremely loose. It's very dangerous. You guys can disagree with me.
I agree with you because if you're not careful, there's a type of hacking attack called cross-scripting attacks. If you're not careful to craft your JavaScript stuff carefully, because I know some of the OS X viruses use malicious JavaScript code.
It's something you really it was created very quickly.
Dynamically.
To just kind of solve a problem. Right. So it's gaining so much momentum though, because it's such a you're allowed to do so many things with it. So that's kind of, with JavaScript. And that's why it has like a huge, like people love JavaScript, but they also hate it because it's so just like infuriating sometimes. But because it's almost like you have, I shouldn't use metaphors or analogies. You're able to do so many things with it. But with Swift, you have like the libraries that Apple has created for you, like taking a picture and bringing it into your app, or
so like there's like
it.
Code for like taking a picture. What we're
exactly,
doing is kind of
it gives you the capability to do these things on a device. So what Che and Ken are talking about with native libraries, that's what native libraries mean, is like, for example, Foundation is a native library, and that allows you to do, I think, like a lot of like what was it, like multiplication and that kind of thing?
All that stuff. In fact, in Swift 3, that Foundation is open source. That library, as well as much of the stuff, the core libraries in there are open source. So you can port it to stuff in Linux and as well as it still needs a working project.
So if I say this right, in GitHub, or actually in JavaScript, you're building the language, then you're using GitHub to back it up. And then if you make a mistake, you can go back to that, and that's what we did before. And now we're kind of doing, you're still working in JavaScript, but then like you're pulling almost like coded tools out of Swift and then putting them into JavaScript.
I guess for what we're showing right now is like, it's kind of not JavaScript focused, it's more Swift focused. And we're using Xcode to create iOS applications. However, with this bridge, we're able to pull in new capabilities, new ways of doing things by using another programming language.
Which is Swift.
Which is JavaScript. Because natively inside of all these iOS applications, we're going to be using Swift, or if you want to be old school, you could use Objective-C. But We're a very strong Swift 3 focus in this meetup.
Okay. Thanks. Yeah, I get a better idea.
But to kind of just finish the thought of just talking about native libraries is, if you're going to write something in JavaScript, it's great because you can compile it for an iOS application. You can also compile it and use the same code to work for like an Android device. So if you want to do cross-platform applications, you could write all in JavaScript, have some program spit out these two apps, and you have it all done. So you have the same code base. But let's say that you want to have your app be super fast. If you're using JavaScript to maybe take a photo or mimic some way that you display an image to make it look like it's a native Swift iOS application thing, you're better off just using Swift.
It really depends on what you're doing. If you need to use the hardware features, it's better to go native. But if you're using like a lot of web-based stuff, then like React Native would be useful. It really depends on what you're doing.
Yeah, and there's also, you probably heard of like Cordova or PhoneGap.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's like completely web.
Yeah.
So you're just basically wrapping a website
It's like a hybrid.
and putting it in an app.
React Native is much better.
Yeah, React Native is a lot closer to the native.
Yeah.
Like it's because you're actually, or you have the choice of using native components and just controlling them using JavaScript.
Exactly. That's what it is.
As you go forward, and Ken, are you thinking that you're going to stick with React Native, or are you kind of just going in that direction?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I have to see because there's a lot of confusing parts of it so far. Like, there's like 10 different ways to do navigation, like different navigation libraries.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and like some of them are pure JavaScript, some of them use iOS navigation components, and like the community is very split. So like I'm just trying to like try all the different things and see if I can see how much I get along with it.
Okay, yeah.
Right.
Well, we'd appreciate it if you could keep us posted on, any kind of iOS, like, I'm able to do this, and it looks like an iOS application.
Yeah,
That'd be
sure.
great. Yeah, thanks. Okay. Any other questions?
Get to learn both ways, just in case.
Okay, so guys,
Get your own.
we've got about 12 minutes left in the meetup. Does anyone want to talk specifically about something that they're stuck on, or maybe a request of what future meetup topics could be? I'm open. We just have an open discussion now.
If I could get on the screen sharing thing, and like I've been having a lot of trouble with JavaScript, and I've been learning a lot slower. So if like I don't know if anyone like at some point even have to I could talk to.
At some point, yeah.
Then Matt, did you want to give me your email address and I can add you on screen here?
If you want me to.
You can just type it out here.
Okay.
I'll add you.
So, been okay. So you had a pretty positive experience.
and then I'll add you.
Just some of the more primary components that we've been using. I looked up a video for how to use GitHub,
Okay.
kind of so I could understand like all the capabilities of it, and then how to use Xcode, because I kind of missed that part in this thing. Like I saw it, but I didn't see where it fitted exactly. And then the APIs, I'm kind of getting. I actually don't really know what that is.
I feel like
Well,
I know that you came in on our talk about CocoaPods and APIs. And
Yeah.
It's really high level to really come into it.
So I got these
Well-
intro videos, and I was like, so I'll watch those out of here, and then when
I'm trying to think of like the
Come back.
best video that you could watch that would just give you a really good overview. So Jared, are you more interested in like web application, like making a website, or are you more interested in like a game?
web apps.
More web apps. Okay. How about
both, I guess, but
okay, so I posted on our on the meetup page. I'm gonna show you real quick that guy is killing it on YouTube with his Swift 3 Xcode 8
cool.
tutorials. So I'm just gonna go quickly to our meetup page, and I'll just show you how to get to it. So guys, feel free to go to it. It's a fantastic resource. This guy, I can't remember his name right now. I'm just going into pages and I'm going to the video ones. I did some updates to our page. So it's going to be this page with the videos. And if you follow, it's a 4-part tutorial. Kind of intimidating, but if you can do this, you're so far along. You really are, because it touches on APIs, bringing in Alamofire with CocoaPods, JSON parsing, just fantastic. And I'll just bring it up real quick. I'm going to mute my computer too. So so it doesn't blast out at you guys. And it's this guy. I really recommend following him. His name is Jared Davidson.
Well, I've seen
He
parts
just
of it already.
He has really good tutorials. And
Jared
Jason, you were mentioning about just the way of describing things. This guy is just, even at 1.5 times speed, this guy, you still understand what he's saying. It's just so clear. I'll just get through this. What he's doing in this is he's creating a application where you're able to play sound samples directly from Spotify. This is a fantastic tutorial, and it's so just clear. So in order to find it, just go through our Meetup page, and I would just recommend watching the entire thing, just doing piece by piece, slowing it down, pausing it. It's just fantastic. It'll get you up to speed so quickly. All right, so we only got 8 minutes left. I wanted to do kind of a quick poll real quick. So I see a lot of Macs here, but I also noticed that, you know, some people don't have Macs, and I wanted to know, like, would it be helpful, like, are you interested in doing, like, creating an app? Like, do you need access to a Mac in order to build these things because you don't have access to Xcode? Like, is that a thing for you, Jared? Is that a thing?
I didn't know if Xcode was usable on it.
Yeah. So I guess the reason this is coming up is that we've had attendees and developers who are coming in like, I don't have a Mac. Can I still participate?
Yeah, I guess that is.
And my answer so far has been, sure, you can program in Swift 3. However, and this is the part I haven't really shared, is that you need an Xcode, or you need a Mac to actually export your code and create an app. So I kind of wanted to take a poll if people needed access to a Mac, but I see a lot of Macs here, so.
And one topic I'd like to cover at some point is to actually start using Swift in, like, let's say Linux or something like that. I got to do that part pretty soon, anyways.
Yeah.
Install Swift in Ubuntu using VirtualBox and Docker.
Do you think maybe? Well, we'll talk about it after the meetup.
Oh yeah, me and Chevy last time were talking about building a VirtualBox. I forgot about this, and then I think I would be able to export the code in that VirtualBox, right?
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, we were gonna do that. I don't know if you still.
I got to do it at some point.
Yeah, we should coordinate that because
Okay.
I'd like to.
Okay, because I have most of the components. That I'm lacking is time.
So that would give me access to all the stuff that we do in here if I.
It takes you halfway. I mean, that's really, I'm just being honest about it. It takes
Right.
you halfway to be able to code in Swift 3. However, it doesn't give you access to, you know, all the features of Xcode, like creating a provisioning profile, actually submitting to Apple, having access to
I can help.
interface builder.
I can help them with that aspect because I'm doing it myself.
Oh, great.
Yeah, I can help directly. Let's see what I'm doing.
Yeah. Okay. That sounds like enough to work on right now for me.
All right, so,
I don't know if you have done really something on functional programming.
right, the closures. What are we talking about? Yeah, you know, we only have about 6 more minutes, Mike, but I'm going to bring up, I found the best functional Swift tutorial on YouTube. I really learn really well from videos, so I'm going to bring it up real quick, and I'll also post it to the Meetup page so you have access to it.
Which video is this?
So it is, I actually have to find it on my phone. I was watching it last night. I've only gotten through, I think there are 3 pieces to the video tutorial series, but what this programmer does is she goes through and she creates, so what we're talking about right now, guys, is we're talking about closures. Swift is a language where you write, correct me if I'm wrong, but declarative programming.
Yes.
So it's kind of like a recipe that you just write from the top to the bottom. You can call functions and everything. It also has this functional aspect to it where we're writing imperative code. Is that correct? Imperative?
I think you meant imperative when you said declarative.
There we go. Flip those, guys. But it's a way for us to pass in, like, if we have an array of things, like a list of things, we can actually pass it into a function, and the function takes care of every single element in there. It's a way of us kind of struggling with how to say this.
You can use functions are first-class objects, similar to JavaScript. They're first-class. You can assign variables to functions. You can have an array of functions. To do some of the dynamic things in Swift, that's how they use the functional approach. Every object has a map, reduce, filter, and yes, you can pass in closures. In fact, a lot of the API tend to use passing closures anyways.
Okay, so Mike, I'm just going to bring it up real quick, and I'll also post it afterward too. But I would just watch the video a couple times, and it makes a lot more sense. So I'll put it up right now.
So,
These strings. Here we go.
I just love these strings.
See if I get it right the first time. 4J WAPNX. I think that's an L. Damn it. No. There's a way to send this from my phone. Nope, that's not it. I'll post it, Mike. It's really good. It's very so what she does is she.
Well, who's the author?
I don't remember. But what she does is she creates it so you go through a list of functions and breaks it down into a function with 0 parameters and 1 return. Then she goes into a function with 1 parameter, 0 returns, and then another one that is like 3 parameters, 3 returns, that kind of thing. So it breaks it down and makes it a lot more understandable. But I'll post it. I'll make myself a note for myself. Okay. Any other requests for meetup discussion topics?
So what's the following ones?
Okay. So let me just finish writing this note. Functional Swift on meetup for Mike. Okay. So next week's topic is going to be. All right, next week we're going to be coding Tetris in Swift 3. It should be fun.
Wow, that sounds great.
So that way, if you do have Swift 3 installed in maybe a virtual box, you can actually code along with us.
Yeah, because we're going to try to do it in a way it's without all the UI code.
Yeah, we're going to just do command line Tetris
Yeah.
probably. We're not going to do any visuals or anything. It's just going to be like a little grid. Like Alexei Pajitnov started out with.
Exactly.
And then after that, we'll be doing, the following session will be covering LLDB. So that is the debugger. It allows us to kind of pause the execution of our program as it's going and inspect specific memory addresses and all that kind of thing.
Yes, you can do that in command line as well.
Mm-hmm.
It works for both Linux and you can do Xcode command line too. As well.
Right.
So
And then
that's
after-
platform independent as well.
After that, we're going to be covering mutating functions. That's going to be a fun one.
Oh,
Jay,
I
might
know.
might need some help on that one.
Oh
from you.
yes.
And then on February 2nd, we'll be covering Git workflow. So we'll go deeper into Git. We did a quick demo today. And then the following one is going to be, I have listed on February 9th, is installing Swift in VirtualBox. So maybe we can shift it around.
Nice.
We'll see what we can do.
We can do it
That's the
earlier.
9th?
We'll
Okay,
keep it
yeah.
earlier.
So we'll have
I gotta
some
start that process.
Yeah, we'll
free-
set you up and then you can, yeah.
and that'll help ingrain it better.
I gotta
Alright.
start that process as soon as possible.
All right, well, that is the meetup, and thank you so much for taking your time to be here. Really appreciate it. If you have any suggestions for improvement, please just post it on the meetup page.
Okay.
And that's it. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks.
you.
Thanks.
Thanks, David. Where was the video, the link video for the guy that was doing the
Oh, okay. I'll show you.
explanations? I'm on the meetup. I just didn't see
So it's
what
going to be pages,
Well, it's good to see you yesterday.
Yeah.
and then you scroll to the
I'm
bottom.
glad that we had the chance to hang out and stuff.
And then it's
like
gonna be
that.
videos.
I gotta stop coming out so late like
Yeah. It was like,
And then
Oh, great.
all of those.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, I got some stuff to do between now and then. Hopefully, have some
Oh,
better.
boy.
Yeah.
So what was the biggest issue?
And then Mike, I'll
you
post
had
the
with,
functional links now.
what was the biggest issue